What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're all doing well. As always, I'm your host, Justin Harold. With me, my co-host, Jeff Santa. And today is, well, I don't know what the date is. It's the 28th. It's Saturday. And we're talking about the Jags versus the Browns on episode 27. That's what I was getting confused about of the Cleveland Pulse podcast. So, Jeff, my guy, how are you doing? How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. Thanksgiving was good, a little bit different than usual, but
Yeah.
got to make the best out of it. And we're pretty much here to just bring you injury news and COVID news. I
COVID.
mean, I think everybody, hopefully everybody in both of these fan bases in this game, we're kind of fitting into each other's roles. I mean, the Browns are good, above average, and the Jaguars are just not very good this year, 1-9.
Looking to go draft Justin Fields probably, which would upset
Yep.
me heavily just because I don't want the man to suffer. But oh well, I guess they'll do what they do. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the funny thing about this is like I've spent like the past 3 nights with Kyle Segura, who's one of our buddies from high school, and the dude just continues to say that every game is a trap game, including this one, which his
Maybe
logic his logic is just weird, and how
if you believe
he
in trap games.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, I believe in like one trap game, and I don't think like the trap game was probably the Texans, who I think are a way better team than, um,
Right.
every other team that we've played so far. The only other team going forward that I could think is a trap game, which by my definition is a game that you should win, but there is a like better chance than the rest of the games on your schedule to lose or something like
Right.
that. So, but the only game remaining like that is probably the Giants because that whole division is fighting for a playoff spot somehow. So
Hmm.
nuts, but yeah, but I mean, this game for me, I'm, I don't like, I honestly have zero feeling going into it other than like we should roll this team. Like we should just roll this team.
Absolutely. I mean, we got some injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but they're not much healthier on the offensive side.
No, they're very banged up.
They're one of these rotating quarterback squads this year. This is the third different quarterback to make a start for them, I believe.
Mike
Mishnu, Lutton,
Mike
and
Glennon.
Lennon. Yep. So, I mean, that's interesting. There's really no consistency down there. This franchise was in the AFC Championship
Yeah, with Blake
two,
Bortles, Leonard
3 years
Fournette,
ago. Talk
Jalen
about
Ramsey.
talk about completely falling apart. But I mean, that's football, man. That's the NFL.
Yeah, I mean that team used to be like stacked everywhere. I mean,
Right. Good D
um,
line.
yeah, good D line. They had Jalen Ramsey. Like I said, they had I don't know who they had at wide receiver that year, but there was Blake Bortles, there was Leonard Fournette. They, it was just it's really weird how quickly they kind of fell apart. But we'll share the screen here now. This is just Daryl Ryder, who's the beat reporter for the Browns, and so this is like the injury slash like COVID list, and it's probably the biggest list that we've ever seen for like a
Ever.
football game, or at least for the Browns in this case. And so you can see here we have Nick Harris, who's our backup center, is questionable. Sheldrick Redwine, that's an out. That's very unfortunate because I felt like right here you have Andrew Sendejo, who's questionable, who
Hmm.
I would like for him to just, get some rest and, be better for next week. That's what I
Prepare.
would that's what I would like for Andrew Sendejo to, just take it easy for this game. And then Wyatt Teller, he's kind of in the position that JC Treader was in like the first 3 weeks when he had his knee scoped. It's been the same injury. He's been limited and everything. He's always going to be questionable, but he's going to play the game. And then Denzel Ward, we found out. Jeff actually found out way earlier than everyone else that he was going to be hurt and out for some time. He's week to week, is what Kevin Stefanski is saying. It's a calf strain.
It's the same
So
thing that Wyatt Teller has. I'm pretty sure. Very close. Very similar.
okay,
Because they
uh,
said he was week to week, and he missed 4 weeks. One was the bye week. So I'm kind of thinking, unless we need, and I'm not looking too far ahead, but if we need the Steelers game really badly, he might
mhm.
play. But if we don't somehow, if we keep continuing on this trend, I'm not going to say anything else besides that, but we'll see him maybe after that. Maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, 4 weeks oh my God, I don't even remember. We're 7-3. That would mean we get him for the Steelers and one of those Giants Jets games, maybe. If that's the actual timetable.
Right.
But again,
Hopefully earlier, but we don't want to push him,
I don't
especially
think
against the Giants.
Right. Well, I don't think you push him until you like figure out, it's going to be like a week by week thing in terms of how desperate are we to like pick up a win or something,
yep,
which
absolutely.
obviously this week we shouldn't be, because if you look down here, starting wide receiver DJ Chark Jr. out, another Chris Conley, starting wide receiver out, corner, I don't know who this is, but he's out. They already said that Mike Glennon's getting the start, so I think he's just going to be out, so that doesn't matter. Don't know who this is. Don't know if these guys are starters or whatever, and this guy is definitely not a starter, because I think I could have sworn Shellnut was a running back, but whoever their running back is, it's not this guy. So, I mean, it's a good week for Denzel to be out, in the sense that and it's a good week to get Kevin Johnson into position and kind of let him take over that kind of cornerback 2 role. Terrence Mitchell will probably bump up, and I don't know if they'll play sides or if they'll, rotate the field, but, just a good week for those guys to kind of maybe build some, not chemistry, but some working reps into their new positions and their new roles on the defense, essentially. So the one thing that I just want to point out, so if Sendejo and Redwine are out, that would mean that Carl Joseph and Ronnie Harrison will probably be our 2 starting safeties. And then I made a tweet off of the account that I would really like to see Javonte Moffett, who's one of the undrafted free agents that we picked up, to actually get some playing time. And against a team that just I think we should be blowing out at halftime or in the third quarter. I would really just like to see him get some reps, because I think he's been on the roster the entire season. Like, he's been a part of the active roster. He's gotten healthy scratches. I would just like to see him get some chances and, find out if we need to, go out and get backup, or if he's going to be okay to kind of be behind Grant Delpit next year and kind of rotate in, maybe working at the nickel or something, because he did really well in training camp is what I heard, and I just like to kind of see a little bit more. But that's just me against a bad team. I kind of just want to see some people play, like Jacob Phillips. I would like to see him get a lot of playing time this week, as obviously he hasn't been able to with all of his injuries. And Jordan Elliott, rookies, guys that I just think should, even Nick Harris, if we're winning this game or whatever, but I don't know that happens too often. So we'll see, but a lot of injured players and a lot of people sick and all that. So hoping for the best, hoping for just a straight pounding of a game for the Browns. I mean, I expect Mike Glennon to just throw the ball 40 times, if I'm being honest. I feel like he or someone else on Twitter, I saw it was he has nothing to lose. The dude has nothing to lose. He might as well just throw the ball. So
they have James Robinson. He's actually kind of burst onto the scene this year as a decent back, just kind of playing and on a bad team. You would really hope that we get another big game from just someone stepping up on our defense, whether if it's Olivier Vernon again or somebody that's going to replace, Denzel Ward on either side of the football. But this Jaguars team, specifically horrid against the pass, and not to mention giving up 29.8 points a game, which is right in the Browns' wheelhouse for great success. You and me both know that, in most NFL franchises this year, if you score 30 points in a game, you're probably going to win, and we're undefeated when we eclipse 30. So that's that's a big talking point for me, is that they give up nearly 30 points a game, and they did a good job against Aaron Rodgers that you have mentioned, which is mildly surprising, because I thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to throw for 500 yards against them. But I don't know. Hopefully they used all their good defense that game and they're back to their old normal Jaguar ways, and we could get Baker Mayfield in some good weather.
Yeah, but there's supposedly like a 20% chance of rain tomorrow, which is
Nice.
so. I mean, it's just like so like typical. Like the one time they're gonna actually get outside of like being in shitty conditions and everything, they go and it's gonna rain. I mean, raining's not like awful. It's not gonna be like a end
Yeah.
all be all type thing like it's been the past 3 games, but I would just like for it to be sunny in Jacksonville so Baker could air it out, for the first half or whatever. But yeah, honestly, I'm not too worried. I guess we should mention that, Myles Garrett's still on COVID list. Porter Gustin got moved to COVID list. Chris Hubbard off the COVID list. And Andy Janovich still on the COVID list. So we're pretty thin at the end. So I think our starters will be Olivier and Claiborne. And I don't know who they'll put as the backups. Probably some practice squad guys. But
Yeah, because I don't think Joe Jackson's active either.
Yeah, I don't know. Was he another guy that got put on the COVID list?
Yeah, I think he was same week as Myles.
Um.
And no talkie and no red wine, like you said.
Oh yeah, no talkie. Forgot about that.
So,
That means
I mean,
yeah, that's probably a good
someone's got
chance
to
for
step up, but
Jacob Phillips.
I'm not worried about that right now. I might be worried about it in the third quarter, depending on the score, but pregame, you shouldn't be that worried about it.
Yeah, I honestly, the weird thing about COVID is just that it keeps you off for 2 games. Like that's Myles is like such a weird condition because I feel like I don't know when that test came in. We still don't know when that test came in. So we don't know that like when he actually got it, but it's kept him off for 2 weeks. Chris Hubbard missed 2 weeks. So Andy Janovich is about to miss 2 games. So it is what it is.
It's weird because, I mean, everybody in the NFL is dealing with it. The Ravens and Steelers game pushed back and still more positive cases coming in, but it's kind of just unfortunate. We're actually been pretty lucky with it all year long, especially with Myles Garrett, because these 2 games are not that important, not playing really great competition. But, I mean, it really is random. I mean, if we get Myles Garrett out for, Ravens and then Steelers like that.
Even next week, like next week is such a huge game against the Titans. Like if this had happened this week, we would have been royally screwed. And I'm worried. Yeah. I'm worried because of, like you get so many people to go on the COVID list this week. It's going to be interesting to see like when tests come in and everything. And even the Jaguars, I mean, they have people that are on the coaching staff that have COVID and, it's just going to be like a problem moving forward for the team, even though I think Kevin Stefanski has done a really great job of controlling it and, abiding by the protocols made by the NFL and just for the Browns in general. So we'll see. But I mean, getting Myles back next week is going to be huge because everything, that's probably it could be the second biggest game of the season for us at this point, for the remaining season, I would suppose.
And he's probably your biggest impact player on the defensive side, him and Denzel. So,
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't sound like we're going to have Denzel for next week, whatsoever. So, I mean, Myles being back would be a big boost, and just honestly, just continue the trend upward of some people. Ronnie Harrison playing great football, and Olivier Vernon last week. Probably his best career game as a Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have to say. So just keep trending in the right direction. And I'm okay with people stepping up. That's fine. That's what you need.
Yeah. And I just like the idea of this game. And obviously you can't take any game lightly. And I'm sure Kevin Stefanski has driven that home. But I would just like to get I'd like to start figuring things out for next week. And this is where I give credit to Kevin Stefanski is the whole 1 week at a time thing. So they're not even thinking about the Titans, but of course fans and people like us are thinking about the Titans because we're 7-3 right now. They're currently a wild card team.
They're 7-3 playing 7-3 Indianapolis this week, so this week's a big game for them too.
Right, and me and you will text about that because I still don't know. I mean, we want Tennessee to win that game.
Yes,
because as of right now we don't have the tiebreaker.
No, we want Indianapolis to win that game, I think. No, well, I don't think it matters.
It's really weird because
if that game decides the division, then we want Tennessee to win, but you can't say it decides the division this early. We don't want Indianapolis to win that division unless we beat the Titans. If we lose to the Titans, we want the Colts to We want the Titans to win that division because then if it's a tiebreaker for the wild card, we have it on Indianapolis. If we beat the Titans, best case scenario, we control our own destiny between those two.
Yep. But yeah, again, I mean, like even this pure speculation of something that's going to happen next week against better teams, and just, you know, hopefully we come out of this game tomorrow and, you know, injury wise, we come out okay. We figure some things out with COVID, and maybe we see some vast improvements and some people step up and get some good things. But I'm going to put this game at 38-21. I'm going to give them like 3 touchdowns just because I think Mike Glennon's going to be slanging the ball, and I don't know. They'll be desperate. I just don't think it'll be close.
Interesting. Well, I feel like we always kind of forget about compensating for like a garbage time touchdown in the fourth quarter, it seems like, especially for the Eagles, because you were pretty close on the Eagles on this.
I was.
Our defense just let them walk down the field. So I'm going to say 28-20, but we're really dominating them. We're up 2 scores after 3 quarters, and then they just get a garbage score in the fourth.
I just liked your point so much about scoring 30 points that I had to go with 38. And this is like the most garbage team that we faced, and we haven't played in, you know,
this is the healthiest our offense has been, you know, all things considered, probably in a while.
Yeah, without OBJ.
Acclimated. Yeah.
Yeah. I say Baker Mayfield will probably throw like 2 early touchdowns, and then like, unless like you get into a 3rd and long somewhere along the road and it's
heavy
like within game. It'll just get into the running game again, and we'll secure the win. So, but I'm cool with that. This was just a quick one. Jeff, if you got anything else you want to say before we peace out?
Just beat the teams you have to beat. I mean, this is a team we got to beat. We got to win this game. Less of a must win than I would say that I've been deeming the most recent couple of weeks, especially because you almost can't expect anything, can't assume, but you almost predict that Baltimore probably will lose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, them going to 6-5 is news to my ears. So, I mean, pick up this game this week, and who knows what can happen.
See, my only reasoning, just going back to that Tennessee Titans game, that I would want them to lose is like momentum. Like, you know, the Browns keep winning, they keep losing. I don't know if they lost last week, but you know, they lose. The Ravens lose. Just I like the whole mentality of carrying momentum, but we'll see. So, all right. That's gonna be it for this one. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. If you guys could leave us a like, follow, and subscribe, and even some comments, you know, we do get back to you guys as much as we can. But without further ado, thank you for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.